What's up, y'all? This is Relly, y'all, back with another video. Yes, and today we'll be talking about Luka Doncic versus Trae Young. Now, for anybody that's been watching my channel for a while, you probably understand that I made a video previously talking about who's better between Luka Doncic and Trae Young. Now, anybody that also watched that video, you know I was completely all in for Luka Doncic. Why? Because I feel like Luka Doncic was the most complete player. He was the most all-around player. And I just feel like his impact on the game was just that. He was just that type of player. Like, there's no way you can really flip it. He was that type of player. And now that we got months into the season, we're further in the season, and we can truly assess who's the better player this season. And we can probably talk about who you think is going to be the better player in the next 5 years or next decade. Now, with all that being said, you're probably wondering, who do I think is the better player between Trae Young and Luka Doncic? Honestly, I still believe that Luka Doncic is the better player, and here's why. Luka Doncic and Trae Young is averaging about the same stat line, minus the rebound. Luka Doncic is averaging more rebounds than Trae Young, of course, because Luka Doncic is the bigger player. That's common sense, right? But when you look at points and you look at assists, something both could equally have, because they are just that great at scoring, they're that great at passing the ball, right? You look at that and say, all right, they're pretty close, right? Then you look at their win percentage and you say, Luka Doncic right now in the standings, his team is in the playoffs, and Trae Young and his team is dead last in the East. And you say, why do you have to bring up this, this East thing that Trae Young is the last seed in the East? Because when you look at his team, they're dead last. And anybody that would probably argue me would say, well, Trae Young's team is just not as good as Luka Doncic. And I say, okay, so are you telling me that Trae Young, being the star that he is, cannot compete with Cavs? Like, he's tied with the Cavaliers, my home city, right? He's under Detroit, who don't even have Drummond. They got bamboozled out of Drummond for a second-round pick. You're under New York, the laughing stock of the East. You're under Chicago Bulls, somebody who's had, 5 or 6 players injured this season? You're under Washington Wizards, who, don't get me wrong, is a pretty good team, but has had its problems through this season. As well as being under Charlotte Hornets, somebody who we've always talked about. Everybody knows that we've laughed at Charlotte because they are just Charlotte. And you're meaning to tell me, all of those teams you're under, and you telling me Trae Young can't win 5 more games to be higher than those teams? And that's where I have to look at the impact of which Trae Young is doing these stats. And don't get me wrong, I am not taking anything away from Trae Young. Because like I said, Trae Young is an impressive player. He has showed that he has Steph Curry-like potential. He showed that he can pass the ball with all of the best players that we've assumed as being great passers. The only thing I would say, Trae Young just has to get better on consistency. But compared to last season, he has improved. He has gotten better. And you have to realize that Trae Young is only going to get better. Just like Luka Doncic, he's only going to get better. They're so young, but they're showing us such great stats, which is kind of crazy, because that you can argue and actually have this debate with 2 players, because typically, honestly, we're never able to have this debate with 2 young stars, because usually they're not stars like this. You get what I'm saying? So, don't get me wrong. Yes, I feel like Luka Doncic is the better player, but I'm not taking anything away from Trae Young, because in 1 or 2 years, Trae Young is going to be in the playoffs. Trae Young is going to be one of the best point guards in this league. Trae Young will be the future of the NBA, because Trae Young is that good. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to the conversation who's better between the two, you have to give it to Luka Doncic, because Luka Doncic has shown you that he's the better player, he's the better overall scorer, and he is the better overall player. So down in the comments, tell me who y'all think is better. Is it Luka? Is it Trae Young? Tell me how y'all feel, because I want to hear what y'all have to say. Why do y'all think that player is better? Let me know. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me if you think I'm right. Just go ahead and comment that down in the comments. And do not forget to like, because, you know, we got to get this video out there. You get what I'm saying? So, with that being said, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and do not forget to hit the notification bell for more amazing content, because we are on the grind, the official grind. And with that being said, Ghosts.